Hello y'all. As you can see, we're gonna be doing something that I'm kind of really nervous about today. We are going to be reading 1-star reviews of my favorite books. Let's go ahead and get started. I have a feeling this video is gonna break my heart a little bit, but this is all gonna be all in fun. Like, it isn't gonna be something serious. Like, if I seem heated, it's obviously just like we're just playing around. Like, nobody get too serious or hurt feelings. I'm the only one that's gonna get hurt feelings in this, probably. Basically, I'm gonna pick, I picked 8 books that we're gonna go through. We are gonna just go through the worst reviews in those. I was gonna pick 9, but I don't think, if I want to fit the one that I'm thinking into this video, I will, but we're just going to stick with the 8 we have now. The first one that we're going to look up is Scythe by Neal Shusterman. I love this series. I still need to read the Toll. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I'm going to very soon. The next TBR challenge that I do, because right now I'm actually filming a video for a TBR challenge, so y'all will see that down the road, so just stay tuned for that though. But the next TBR challenge I intend on doing is a sequel TBR challenge. So I'm just basically gonna go through sequels that I need to continue, and that will be my next stack of books that I'm gonna start reading. So, but for now, we are going to try to read some of the worst reviewed Scythe comments. So I'm afraid, I love this book so much. It has such a special place in my heart. But this basically is following 2 people, Citra and Rowan, and they are chosen to be apprentice Scythes. And Scythes are basically people that are chosen to kill certain people in their society, because in this world there's no hunger, there's no disease, no war, no misery. Humanity has conquered death. They have to keep some sort of balance so people don't get overly populated, so they have Scythes that come around and kill certain people. These 2, Citra and Rowan, are getting trained to become Scythes, and they basically have to fight it out, and whoever wins becomes the new Scythe. We're gonna go ahead and try to find some reviews on Goodreads about this. I am afraid, like, I'm not even gonna lie, I am afraid. I'm petrified.
I am petrified.
If you hear my mama talking in the background, she's on the phone with Medtronics, my brother's diabetic pump is being a bitch. I gotta sign in, are you fucking joking? Let's see if any of like the Goodread people that I follow, if any of them have rated it a 1. Okay, so nobody that I follow has rated it super low. There are some 1-star reviews, but there's not a lot. Okay, the first 1 star I found. This person said, "A world where natural death is obsolete, thereby requiring a dedicated use of Scythes, who are the only ones authorized to kill. And while most Scythes honor the process, there are a few bad apples who use their powers for evil, and so the killing ensues. Mass killings done in the name of upholding the law and on I read until subconsciously, gradually I found myself falling into a state of despair. It took a good 2 hours before realizing I didn't really need to read this book. Why would anyone want to read about the art of death and gleanings? I can't describe the overwhelming melancholy this evoked. And for my sanity, I have to set this aside, DNF at 45%. I do understand where this person is coming from. It is hard to read about in that sense, because it does talk about the art of death. And these Scythes do have their own technique, and they do look at it as a form of art. So that is a very melancholy, dark thing to think about. But at the same time, like, the book is very open about what this is going to be about. Like, it says it on the back, and anybody who describes it, you know, going into it, it's gonna be about death, and that these people do it for a living. So I don't know what she did expect going into that when she picked it up, but I mean, maybe she thought it was going to be something completely different, or maybe she didn't think it was going to be so overwhelmingly about death. I do understand what she means. I personally thought it was fascinating, this world, and that there were different arts of death, but I really do understand where she's coming from. But also, like, I don't know if she likes the Hunger Games or not, but that book is literally a book about killing children, and they do it for sport. So I don't feel like Sath is completely like just like this crazy book that nobody else has ever even considered, like had like death for fun. But I mean, I know there is like the Hunger Games and stuff, so I feel like I don't feel like this is that much of an out there concept. So like I said, I do respect her opinion. I completely understand what she means, but like when you go into reading Sath, you know it's gonna be about death, like, and you know it's gonna be a lot of killings and like different ways of gleaning, and I mean, you just kind of know that going into it. But if she wasn't comfortable and it wasn't working for her mental health, she obviously needed to put it down. I have had to do that before. I totally understand what she is talking about there, so I get it. Okay, let's see if I can find another 1-star review. We are going to try to be as respectful as we possibly can in this video. I don't see there's any reason to really be hateful unless there is somebody that's being mean for no reason. Ooh, we got a long review here. Another 1-star for Sath. Actually, this person said 1.5-ish stars. So this person said, for a YA book, this is awfully bland and unsophisticated, like one might expect from a children/middle grade book. No. Especially for such a violent book and one that sounds so cool. It reminds me of one of those kids' books I loved when I was 10 and try to read now and realize it was actually pretty lame. What kind of books were you reading at 10 years old that replicated this kind of madness? So then he has it subcategorized. Problems. Vague world building riddled with contradictions introduced conveniently to make various plot points fit. I don't see that. And what YA fantasy book doesn't have contradictions in their world building? Like, to me, I feel like that happens in almost every fantasy you can find. Characters fall into 2 camps, good and evil. Characters with each camp are virtually indistinguishable. I guess I can see where he's coming from with that, but that's kind of the point. Like, there is no good versus evil. There's always a gray in between. Like, nothing's ever black and white. It's always gray. Like, that's what I took from it. 3, forced first I hate you, now I love you romance between the main characters. I don't think it was forced. I didn't think it was forced at all. 4, juvenile writing and laughable dialogue. Okay, I feel like he's being kind of mean. I don't think that this was juvenile writing at all. I think Neil Shusterman is a master writer. I think he does brilliant regarding story building, character development. I don't think it's laughable, and at this point, I feel like this person's kind of being mean and belittling his ability to write a book. I mean, if this person can do better, then I mean, hey, give it a shot. But I feel like this book was so well written, well executed. I feel like that was a little shitty thing to say, but twist I could predict before even opening the book. Then why did you pick it up, my guy? Like, why did you pick it up if you already knew what was gonna happen? Faux wisdom exploring what is supposed to be the moral ambiguity that is Sathdom, but no grayness is presented when there could/should have been. It's completely black and white. I feel like, okay, I feel like, yeah, there are points where it is very black and white, but there's a point to that because there is a lot of gray area in a lot of things, and that's their point of why their world is so flawed, because not everything is black and white. They thought they had all of this problem solved, that they solved death, and by putting everything in terms of right and wrong, good and evil, black and white, that would solve everything, and that's just not how that works. There's always a gray area, and that's what the point of the book was. I don't know if it just went over his head or what happened, but I don't know. But you know what bugged me the most? There's an ongoing joke concerning a debate between the Tonist, monks who worship vibrations, and whether the great god tuning fork sounds the note of A flat or G sharp, which is actually pretty clever if you're a music geek, because they're actually the same note on a piano/guitar, and this could actually be debated between hardcore musicologists about tuning and tonal function, blah, blah. But at one point in the story, when it's addressed, the character says something like, is that an A flat or an F sharp? Completely different. Rookie mistake, unforgivable. It seems a lot of people love this, which is great. I think it will work really well for certain audiences to which I just don't belong. Sorry, not sorry. The cover's pretty sweet and I finished, so there's that. See, this is what pisses me off about this particular reviewer. He said that he feels like this would work for certain audiences, but according to him, these certain audiences enjoy juvenile and writing and laughable dialogue, and I just thought that he was kind of shitty in that review. I'm just gonna be completely honest. I thought he was very shitty. I didn't think there would be one that would be that downright hateful, but I took it as that. So I thought that he sounded very condescending and he sounded kind of pretentious. So, I mean, good for you, dude. Like, you read what you want to read. You go read like your fancy ass writing and shit, and let us have our laughable dialogue and juvenile writing styles, and you can go read your pretentious shit. So it's time to quit with this one because I'm already getting mad. The first one did not bother me at all. I thought she was so respectful, but I don't like it when people sound condescending like that and hateful. Now this next one I am nervous about because this is one of my favorite series, but I know that it's very flawed. I know that it's very polarizing as well. So I mean, I do love this book, but I do recognize the issues that are in the book. So, Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. I thought that this book was amazing because of the fact that it has one of the healthiest YA relationships I've ever read about, ever. I think that Audrey Rose and Thomas Cresswell's relationship is just so healthy, and it is what people should strive to have in their relationships, which is mutual respect and being on equal grounds with your partner. Like, I just thought this book was great, and I loved Audrey Rose because she is into science in a time where women were told that they were too stupid to do science and too stupid to practice like medicine or anything like that, and she was proving everybody wrong, and she was wearing her skirts and being fancy and dressing like a lady while doing it. So I just love that. Like, I love that the author didn't say she's gonna be a nerd, she's gonna be into science, she's gonna be like this, but she's not gonna have any sort of femininity, because I don't like it when authors do that. You can be both. You can love dresses and shopping and doing all the feminine things that people do and still be a really smart badass woman. Like, you don't have to be one extreme or the other. You can be both, and I just love that this author did that, and I just thoroughly enjoyed this story. Like, the title is a bit misleading because you think that the woman here is in love with Jack the Ripper and that she's like stalking him, and like, I was completely shocked about what this book was actually about, but I was pleasantly surprised. So it didn't bother me, but a lot of people do see it as a misleading title, which I do very much understand that. Let's see if any of my follower that I follow on BookTube rated this low. Hopefully not. Somebody did rate it low that I follow. Oh my gosh. Okay. So Cat Paperback Dreams actually did rate this a 1. So here's the thing. I love Kat. I think she's great. I laugh my ass off whenever I watch her videos. I think she is so honest and blunt, and I appreciate people that are that honest. She does it in a way that's funny. She will drag a book, but in the most respectable way possible. So I love watching her. I think she's great, and I'm ready to listen to her drag my favorite book. So let's get this going. She said, here it is. The first 1-star of the year. Womp womp. If you want a fluffy, historically inaccurate romp through 1888 London that is the Kids Bop version of the Ripper's notorious crimes, read this book, I guess. In it, you will find 1, anachronistic fake feminism doled out by Audrey, I'm not like other girls, Rose, the only capable female character in this book that is supposedly full of girl power. 2, an annoying love interest who is a clear Sherlock Holmes ripoff. 3, an apparent lack of knowledge surrounding the 19th century and the serial killer that the book is named after. 4, a killer whose identity is ridiculously obvious the first time they walk on page. And while I love the self-esteem boost that solving a twist provides, if you've ever read literally any thriller in your life, you will guess who Jack the Ripper is, and it will be disappointing. So let's discuss what she said. First of all, I do agree that this is a lot historically inaccurate, but I wasn't going into this expecting like historical accuracy. I was just expecting a thriller, and that's what I got. I mean, I wasn't really expecting it to be like on point exactly like how London was in the 1880s, and like maybe I should have gone into it that way, and maybe I'm wrong for thinking that, but I was just more in it for the story. When she said that the fake feminism doled out by Audrey, that I'm not like other girls Rose. So I didn't get that vibe from Audrey. I really didn't. I felt that she did not have fake feminism. I thoroughly liked the fact, like I just said, that she did embrace her other feminine qualities, all while still wanting to be a scientist, and I appreciated that. And I didn't notice that she was ever like super condescending or mean towards other women in the books. I didn't pick that up from her, but I mean, that doesn't mean that it didn't happen, and maybe I just didn't perceive it that way. And as for, did not think Thomas Cresswell was annoying. I thought he was so sweet. I absolutely adored him. I honestly really, really did. He is everything I would want in a man, so yeah. But I don't know if she's read the other books. She probably hasn't, since she rated this a 1. But in the other books, their relationship is just beautiful. But anyways, then she talked about how you guessed the serial killer almost instantly, which yes, I 1000% agree with that. I knew who the serial killer was like that. Like, it didn't take any time for me to figure out who it was. First of all, I felt the author gave a dead giveaway like in the first half of the book. Like, there was this little thing that she said, and I can't get into it because it's spoilers, but there was this certain part of the book that she said, and I knew instantly who the killer was. And I also suspected it from the get-go the instant we met this character. So I do totally get what she's saying with that. I think I just enjoyed the ride. I think I enjoyed how this was set up. I enjoyed the medical gore. I enjoyed Audrey. I enjoyed Thomas. And I think I just enjoyed watching their relationship form. And also just the fact that she was a woman in science at the time and she was breaking barriers. And I also have really strongly considered going into the medical field. My point is that I feel like the reason I loved this was because of that medical aspect to it. So I personally just absolutely adored this book. But I do understand what Kat is saying. I really, really do. I understand why she doesn't like it. That's all we're gonna do for that one, because this already is 23 minutes long, and I probably should have just done 5 books instead of 8. We might reduce it a little bit. Why don't we talk about Vengeful by V.E. Schwab next? I loved Vengeful. I loved Vicious as well, but Vengeful is my favorite. This is actually the best Victoria Schwab book I have read so far. So let's see if anybody rated it a 1 in my followers. It always makes me nervous. Ooh, somebody did rate it a 2. Kat rated it a 2. We do not share similar books. Like favorites. I just love watching her videos. She's hilarious. So let's try to find a 1 star of this. Could you not? Somebody said, this is a very short review. They said, one of the top 5 worst reads of 2018. This was a fiasco, an absolute clusterfuck. What a joke. She couldn't have elaborated. Like, I don't understand. This to me was not a clusterfuck. This was absolute art and genius. But I mean, okay, I don't see how this could possibly be the worst book that she's read. Vengeful.
We'll read that, I promise.
This is the second book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's see if we can find another one. This is really hurting my feelings. Like, I really am getting hurt feelings by this. I've actually gotten more heated than I thought I would. We might have to do some 2-star because not a lot of people rated this one a 1, which is good because it's definitely not a 1-star book. Like, I could understand a 3, but a 1? Like, really? No, that is anarchy. Here's a 1 star. So somebody rated this a 1.5, and she does have a very, very long review, so we probably won't be able to get through all of it. But she said, I would love to live in a world where Vengeful had never been published. Okay, it's already starting off horrible. Vicious was one of my best readings of the year and probably one of my favorite books of all time. And as standalone, it worked perfectly well. Vicious was complex, dark, and twisted. You can read my review in here to know how much I liked it. And it had a really good ending. Saying that, Vengeful was one of my most anticipated releases of 2018, and I had really high expectations of this novel. And maybe because of that, and also due to the hype and marketing work about this, I'm utterly disappointed. I honestly think this story needed a second installment and less a third one. Vengeful has a similar structure to Vicious. It starts off 5 years prior and races towards the climax at present day. And although it wasn't as mind-blowing as the previous novel, since it now doesn't feel original, it's a narrative resource I liked. We still have different intertwining third-person narrator POVs: Victor, Eli, Sydney, Mitch, Dom, Marcella, June, and on. But this time I felt quite overwhelmed by the amount of new POVs and characters. She does talk about quite a bit, but I do understand what she's saying there. I thought that her review was very respectful. There was a lot of characters and there was a lot of POVs, and I guess I can see why people would think it's a clusterfuck, but at least this person elaborated a little bit. I still don't see it as a clusterfuck, but I also like this book better than Vicious. Like, I personally enjoyed the second book way more than the first one. I did really like the first one. I think I gave the first one a 4 and this one a 5, but I mean, I just thought this book was amazing. I loved the villains in this book. I thought they were amazing. I love that the villain was this like badass woman, and I thoroughly enjoyed this, but I do understand what she's saying. I do. See, I don't mind reading reviews like that if they like elaborate and if they're super respectful, and she was very, very respectful, so I appreciate that. So the next book we're going to look up is Illuminae by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. This is one of my favorite series of all time, and I do not like sci-fi, especially like space sci-fi, but this book just absolutely took me through a roller coaster ride of emotions. I read all 3 of the books in this trilogy, and if you haven't read it, read it. I know it looks scary, but it's got this really cool format. Like, it's like case files, and it's just a really, really cool way to write a book, in my personal opinion. So it was so fast, and you get through it really, really quickly, and you are thoroughly entertained the entire time. So if you haven't read this, you should really try it. But to listen about Illuminae. Oh my God, I'm so tired. I didn't sleep last night though, so let's see if anybody that I follow rated it a 1. Nope, nobody even rated it a 2. That's when you know the book is good. I'm scared. Oh, here's one right here. So this person said that they DNF'd it at 30%. Should I even read it if it's a DNF? Like, I know one of the first reviews I read, it was DNF'd at 45%, but like, does that even really count if they didn't even read the whole book? So I don't know, but let's just give it a shot, I guess. This book is written in epistolary format, and it has the honor of being the most annoying book I've read this year. Some people love that stuff. I ain't one of them. I love space shit, Firefly, Star Wars, yes, even the newer ones, Star Trek. I loved Enterprise, and I don't care who knows it. This book was just terrible and terribly formatted. Then she gives examples of the text. So like, shows like little examples right here. That's like a little image from the book. What? The first few chapters are entirely interviews. It was annoying as shit. It didn't endear me to the main characters, and it explained nothing. Interviewers are, I don't know what this says. That doesn't make sense. Useless for building a memorable introduction unless it is in the hands of an extremely skilled writer. Not the case here. So right off, we have an annoying girl who's thinking about her ex-boyfriend when the invasion occurred. I have no idea where we are. I have no idea what year it is. I don't know what a Carenza whatever is. And then she gives more examples of the text and says, bad start, and it didn't get much better after what seems like 1,000 pages of interviews. All of a sudden we're at war. Still no idea where we are, what year it is, how we got here, etc. And then young people are getting conscripted for the military. Anyone showing C grade. Okay. Anyways, that I don't feel like that was necessarily fair because they did DNF it, even though I did think I was going to DNF it when I first picked it up because it was sci-fi, but I did give it a really good shot. I mean, I do get what they're saying, and some of that format, the format that is in this book, some of that isn't for everyone. Like, I completely get that. Some people, and I didn't think it was going to be for me when I first picked it up, but I did really, really want to try and give it my best shot. But no, I totally get what this person is saying. I understand that that can be annoying and that it's just not for everybody. So, ooh, here's another one. Another DNF. Okay, DNF at 60%. I can't fucking read this anymore. Oh my god. I hate this book. I hate this format. I hate the characters. I hate the humor. I hate the stupid ass fucking sarcastic, unfunny humor. I hate the fact that the humor makes me so angry. Fuck. I hate the fact that the humor seemed like it was written by a 50-year-old trying to write as a 17-year-old. I hate the plot. I hate the story. I hate the stupid fucking format. I hate the weird ass sci-fi words. I hate that I don't even know what the fuck is going on. I hate that I don't even know what I don't know. I hate everyone who recommended this to me. I hate the fucking format so fucking much. Fuck. I hate that literally none of J. Kristoff worked for me. I hate Never Not. Fuck that shit. I hate that I thought this would be better. I hate that I was wrong. I hate that my friends knew I would hate this. I hate that I didn't listen. I hate that I bought the rest of the series already. I hate that I thought I would love it. I hate that I was obviously wrong. I hate this book. I hate that I want nothing more than to throw it in the trash can. I hate that this is an unpopular opinion. I hate that I want to punch myself for thinking I like this book. I hate everything about this book. I hate that it's sitting on my shelf. I hate that I just want to get it out of my sight. I hate that everyone's going to comment on this review asking, OMG, how could you not like this? I hate that I have to tell them that I think this book is shit. Bye. Jesus Christ. My fucking God. Like, that was absolutely insane. Like, they were clearly very triggered and upset by this book. I thought that was kind of harsh. I don't feel like there was any good, constructive criticism behind that. I feel like they were just saying they hated it. It was kind of funny, though. It was kind of a funny review, so, my God. There is Illuminae. Okay, actually, I don't have this book with me. I lent it to somebody, and I just don't have it right now, but we're going to talk about Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. This was my favorite book of 2018, or one of my favorite books. It was such a great book. It's a thriller. Let's go ahead and look at the 1-star reviews for that one, because that one is very polarizing. You either love it or you hate it. So one of my booktubers rated this book a 1. Her name is Chandler Ansley. Chandler is one of my favorites. Love her so much. My mom actually thinks we look alike. It always cracks me up when she says it. I do see it. I look yellow in this lighting because I'm poor and don't have good lighting. I am white as a ghost. I literally am so white. I look red as fuck right now because I'm hot because of the ring light, and the makeup makes me look a little yellow because they never make makeup light enough for me, but skin tone looks a little different. And yeah, but I do see what my mom sees. She said just a few things. So dumb, so dumb, so dumb. I read 13 thrillers in 13 days. Here's what happened. Oh my God, I loved that video. If y'all haven't watched that video, go watch that video. That video was amazing. So I do remember her saying now that she did not like that book. I don't get offended when people say they don't like that book, because that is a book that you either love it or you fucking hate it. The ending is so polarizing and so out there that you just have to hold on tight and hope that you're on the side that really, really loves it. So I loved it. I thought it was amazing. So I do totally understand why she wouldn't like it. Okay, let's see if anybody, oh, yep, another person. Cece rated it a 1-star, and she just said, what a fucking disaster, LMAO. So let's read this one. So somebody said, I suppose I really shouldn't be surprised that in an era where Donald Trump becomes president and Britain exits the European Union, that this book is landed as one of the top psychological thrillers of the year. I could have overlooked the pedestrian prose, the utterly unlikable and unconvincing characters, and the plot, done much better by other writers a billion times before, because I was looking forward to the twist of the year. To give an indication of just quite how bad it actually is, an insult to every reader's intelligence, I'll give you a few examples of how it could work in the other books. Pride and Prejudice, Mr. Darcy is actually really haughty and standoffish because he's a robot. To Kill a Mockingbird, Atticus Finch is really a great lawyer because he's a time traveler from the future. In Air, Mr. Rochester is moody and troubled because he's a shape-shifting werewolf. I'm sure you get my point. The book is ridiculous, and I suppose I should have known better given that I'm currently living in a surreal dream world. Okay, that interview was on point. I loved that interview. Okay, y'all, editing Lindsay. I realized that I just said interview. But my tiredness had just kicked in like an extra hard punch. So listen, I hadn't slept at that point in like 36 hours and I was exhausted. My eyes keep closing, my eyes twitch occasionally, and I apparently am saying interview instead of a review. So that happened. Sincerely apologize for my belligerence. I swear to God I wasn't drunk or high. I just was exhausted. So, and why I thought after not sleeping for over 36 hours that it would be a really good idea to film a video, I'll never know. But I did it. And then I make a fool out of myself, so I'm so sorry about that. No, it just literally dragged my favorite book. I don't even care. That interview, that was perfect. Honestly, it really, really was. I totally understand what she's saying. I totally sympathize with what she's saying. And yes, I get it. In a world where Donald Trump is president, anything can happen. Honestly, we won't talk about him. We won't talk about him. This is a happy place, happy thoughts, and he is not welcome here, so out you go. I do really understand what she means, and that review was really funny, and I totally could resonate with what she's saying. So now let's move on to the last book. I decided we're gonna just do one more because this video is 45 minutes long already. Hopefully I can edit it down quite a bit. But the last book we are gonna look at is The 7 Deaths of Evelyn, or not 7 Deaths, I do that all the time. There's a book called 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, and then there's a book, this one, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This was my favorite book of 2018 as well. I think this one was my first, and then Behind Her Eyes was my second. I absolutely adored this book. I've reread this book a couple of times, and I can honestly reread it just anytime, anywhere, because I just genuinely loved this book. It touched me in a way that books don't generally do, especially contemporary romances like that or literary fiction. But Taylor Jenkins Reid was able to create Evelyn Hugo, and I thought she was a real celebrity. She did such a good job that I had to Google her because I thought she was real. And her story and the mystery behind this as well, because there is a mysterious element to it, just talking about certain social issues that women face, especially women of color, and I just absolutely adored this book. And I don't see anybody being able to hate this book. Like, maybe I could understand somebody like giving it a 3, like, and just enjoying it, but a 1, I really don't see how that's possible. So it says that there is a 1. Oh, right here. Oh my God, I'm scared. This is long too. It said, worst read of 2018. For glucose gluttons, syrup scoops sprinkled with tritiums. To paraphrase a quote attributed to Abe Lincoln, for those who like this kind of book, it's just about the kind of book they would like. A significant failure in my personal vetting process. Okay, I didn't like that quote that he just said. I repeatedly winced or rolled my eyes at such soppy, silly prose and implausible as, I love you so much that I thought you were the meaning of my life. I thought that people were put on earth to find other people, and I was put on earth to find you. To find you and touch your skin and smell your breath and hear all your thoughts. 7 Husbands is quite a trove of truisms brimming over the bromides. Some marriages aren't really that great. Some loves aren't all encompassing. Sometimes you separate because you weren't that good together to begin with. Sometimes reality comes crashing down to you. When you're given an opportunity to change your life, be ready to do whatever it takes to make it happen. It felt like water in the desert. If I want things to change, I have to change how I do things. And schmaltzy advice, you have to find a job that makes your heart feel big instead of one that makes it feel small. So if you're still on the fence, by all means, read it. I didn't like that. I felt like that was hateful, especially when he said the Abe Lincoln quote, "For those who like this kind of book, it is just about the kind of book they would like." I feel like that's hateful. What?
Trying to fold these quietly.
My mom is such a loud person. Like, she can be very, very irritating. So if you hear her crunching and all that during my video.
Trying to be quiet.
And then laughing randomly at the TV. Yeah, I didn't like that review. I thought that was kind of shitty, personally. But that's just me. If I can find one more 1-star read, I'll read it. But if not, then that'll be the end. That's it. That's the only 1-star read on that one. So that wasn't as painful. There were a few on here that actually kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. And I felt that some people were kind of mean and hateful for no reason. But, you know, what can you expect? Like that one lady said, we live in a world where Donald Trump is president. So what can we honestly expect anymore? But that is it for this video. I hope that y'all liked it. Like this video if you want to. Subscribe if you want to. And yeah, I will just see y'all in the next video. If y'all could see my dog from here, 1 second. Look at how my dog is laying right now, though. He's just laying like what is that? Jackie Chow!
He's the king of the world.
Is it the king?
Fall off the bed.
Him's the baby.
Literally, look at how I'm on this bed.
So that's it. Sorry if I'm crooked now. I turned you around so you could see my dog because I thought that was really cute. That is it for this video. I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.